The school district of Philadelphia admitted today that it knew there was asbestos damage inside a school.
Explained the decision reflects
Plans
evening
to
of
ensure that they later put extra retaliation.
As over 200 Philadelphia public schools open for the 2024 through 2025 school year, students and staff enter schools that many are frustrated with the quality of.
In Philadelphia and Pennsylvania in general, mainly Philadelphia, there's not a lot of funding, period. But our school gets more than others, which is unfortunate because we don't get enough, to be honest.
These problems are generational.
The Commonwealth Court's decision said basically that the school funding formula in Pennsylvania is inequitable and unconstitutional, which basically means that it's illegal. Schools are funded two different ways, well, really three different ways, but the main way is from state funding, from real estate taxes, and they get some federal money. Some school districts are in wealthy areas, and they have high real estate taxes, so those schools are funded very adequately. But you have other areas that don't have high real estate taxes, don't have wealthy taxpayers. So they have to rely solely on, or mainly on, state funding. In urban schools like Philadelphia, you have buildings that are old. Some of these buildings are 100 years old. I've heard estimates that just the facilities need about a couple of $1 billion to be fixed over several years.
We have a city that can't afford exactly on its own to make sure that schools are safe, to make sure that the lunches don't taste like crap, to make sure that the oldest buildings have air conditioning, that they're free of toxins like asbestos.
I've had friends, they couldn't go back to school because they had like heat stroke or something because it was so hot in the basement, or it was super cold for some reason. The heating barely works.
The quality of the building, it's old. Put into prospect of how old it is. My great-grandmother graduated from there.
I can remember at Alney, I literally had kids come to me, they'd say, "I'm sorry, I was absent yesterday. I had to go home to the bathroom," because the bathrooms were such a mess that kids literally went home rather than use them.
I don't feel like my school is adequately funded because we have a lot of issues with employment with teachers and staff, and also with running valuable things inside of our school, which is getting harder and harder to do since funding is being depleted more and more.
Our school books, like the ones we would use, those were like from the 70s, and they were just falling apart. There was some pages you couldn't even read anything on because there was just like scribbles, and some of them the ink just bled out. It was just terrible.
They were more interested in cutting the budget than actual education. That's just my personal opinion. So they were like, "Oh, we're going to cut this budget. You know, we're going to sell these schools." They sold a number of schools. They cut teachers, they cut counselors, they cut nurses, they cut support staff. It seems like they didn't have any understanding of how that would affect education. Either they didn't have any understanding or they didn't care.
Counselors in general are not common in schools like they should be. We have two. They're amazing, they do a lot, but to be in charge of every single kid inside of a school between two counselors is a lot. And while we may be lucky and fortunate that even have counselors, I know a lot of schools don't.
Lack of proper care and assurance leaves students feeling unvalued and unable to work in their school environments. Over 74 Philadelphia schools had to dismiss early in September 2023 due to being unsuitable to work in with the excessive heat.
If you're hungry, if you feel unsafe, if you feel unseen or anonymous, or you feel hostile, or you feel just on the fringes of a community, all those things are going to prevent you from really soaking up a learning environment.
I can't tell you how many friends I have from other schools who have told me about how unsafe they feel in the school, how the school cultivates an environment of stress, an environment of hatred and bullying, how they don't want to ever go to school, how they never want to be in school, how they can't get any work done in school because they get so stressed out about the small hours, the tightly wound schedule.
You have to show up to one class every 3 weeks to not be marked truant. So what the students would do was they wouldn't show up for 3 weeks and show up to their one class every 3 weeks. and then they'll go home.
I think students need lots of different things, but baseline, everybody is going to need safety, security, and personalized understanding of what their needs are.
Signed into action on July 1st, the Philadelphia School District will receive roughly $242 million this upcoming school year.
So throughout most of my high school experience, I was a part of the School District of Philadelphia Superintendent Student Advisory Committee, and the whole program is oriented in bringing students from all across the school district to weigh in on policies and decisions that directly implement and directly affect students of the district. In the committee, we were not able to directly receive any progress that was made on those issues. I know when we were speaking with the individuals who are involved in, say, the budget, we were told, oh, I never knew that happened. I never knew that was a problem within your schools. This is new to me now. And in these administrative levels, it's very difficult to make immediate implementation.
Students and teachers feel as if they don't have a means of communicating their problems to the school district. Online reports can be filed through myphillyschools.com, but whether or not input is heard and implemented is a different matter.
As young people, we are not taken seriously. We are not listened to. Until that is addressed, I don't think any young people are really going to be heard.
They don't listen to the teachers, the principals, the students. They just listen to the numbers.
Because when you have kids, students, they graduate from high school and they get a good job, they pay taxes, right? They contribute to the economy. And if you don't have enough people to come into these jobs, then your economy is going to suffer.
Accelerate Philly is the School District of Philadelphia's 5-year plan to address issues in the district. Superintendent Tony Wallington's strategic plan is a 62-step proposal influenced by the input of over 2,000 people and was approved unanimously by the school board. It attempts to solve problems in the 5 areas it believes are the most urgent. Some proposed actions include improving facilities, implementing lunch after school, and creating parent ambassador roles. With a set completion date by 2028, Accelerate Philly plans to make the Philadelphia School District one of the best in the nation. Only time will tell how it plays out.
I mean, I've looked at the plan. That's a great plan. But like I said, these problems have been going on for years, so it's like you're trying to climb your way out of a deep hole.
I think that anyone can make plans, but it really depends on if you act on them.